So let's quickly jump into the chart. So as we spoke about it, we spoke about the Asian, the London, and the New York. So that's how you draw a trend line. You can't draw a trend line and then it doesn't touch each session. So first session, which is Asian session, that's where your trend line is going to start. And then London session, that's mostly your second point. And New York session, that's mostly your third point. And your third point is mostly your entry. So we're going to enter always on the third touch of the trend line. And the third touch sometimes can happen during the London session, but most of the time, 75% of the time, it's going to happen during the New York session. And that's where we're going to catch our entry just based on this. And we're going to just look at some few examples. I won't explain the patterns today. Today, I'll mostly be showing you practical examples of how I use this strategy. And you're going to see. So every time when I analyze, just watch out for my Asian session, my London session, and my New York session. So just always check my analyze and see, okay, that's the Asian session, the London session. And then try to understand my first point, second point, third point. So if you can check here, this is my Asian session, right? And you can see that my first point was where? In my Asian session. Yes, I pulled it a little bit. I reached it there, but this was initially my first point, the Asian session. And my second point was here during the London session. And my entry point was here during the Asian session as a breakout. I'm still going to explain how you know it's a breakout when it's not going to be a breakout. I'm still going to explain it on the following lesson. So the third point was here, and then we entered sales. And how much do I risk? In each and every single trade, I risk 50 pips and I aim for 150 pips. But recently, as you can see with this trade, I did risk 50 pips, but it hit SL first and then went to my direction. So sometimes I'm pulling, just risk 60, we're gonna survive. Wow. So same thing again here. I won't explain much as I said, but in the next following lesson, I'm going to explain these patterns, how I know it's going to break, how I know it's not going to break. So we can see here, it's a beautiful breakout trend. But I want you to recognize my first point of the trend. Where is it? In my Asian session. And I want you to recognize also my second point. Where is my second point? In the London session. And I want you to recognize my entry point. Where is it? My entry point was in the New York session. Can you see? Point 1 Asian, point 2 London, entry New York. Can you see? Nice and simple. And then even if we look at this one, Asian point 1, London point 2, entry was again on the New York for this one, but it came for a retest. Entry was on the London, but it came for a retest here in the New York session. Can you see? Point 1 Asian, point 2 London, entry New York. So again, same thing over and over and over. And people still say, no, your strategy, what. It's fine. Whatever people say, it's fine. So again here, point 1 was when? It was during the Asian session, as you can see. That was my point 1. My point 2 during the London session, my entry, New York session. Can you see? Where was my first point? Asian session. Where was my second point? London session. When was my entry? Okay, my entry was again still in the London session. So sometimes during the London session, as I said, you can see 2 touches. You can't, but still same thing. Again this side, where we saw a London session, 2 touches here during the London session for a strong breakout. The last example, I have a lot of examples. I've been trading this strategy for years, so I have a lot of examples, millions of examples. So again, Asian session, first point, London session, second point, and the New York session, entry. But I explain again, how do I know it's gonna break out? You're gonna see a lot of failure. Where if you see me write failure, if I send an analysis maybe on the group, I say failure, you must know, oh, failure, we're expecting a breakout. That's why he knows, but I'll explain it more in detail. And again, same thing again with this entry again. Asian session, what's happening with the Asian session? That's my first point. And then where's my second point? London session. Where's my entry? New York session. I'm gonna end it the same thing again here. This was my Asian session in NZ7. This was my Asian sessions. First point, London session. Second point, and guess what? New York entry. That's my New York starts here, and then my New York. That's my entry, and then TP just like that. I'm gonna end the session there. It's been wonderful. Hopefully you learned. Next session will be tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll be looking at the patterns of how to know if it's a breakout, if it's a continuation of the trend, and channel trends, and I'll be explaining them how to draw the trend perfectly so that finally when you draw a trend line, it actually works as an entry.